The next round is for $1 million.
Whoa, that's pretty f***ing tight.
Jude, the only way out of this is to finish. You know the rules.
The silence of the Paradise Island is shattered by a horrific scream. Two men, strapped to gaming tables, lose consciousness as their tongues are removed. A woman addresses one of them.
The next round's for $10 million.
Whoa. Please no more. Please just stop.
Despite the anguished cries of the unfortunate players, their relatives are placed in front of them, and the rules of the next round are announced while the host urges the game towards its grim conclusion. The host declares that the results of their decisions will now be revealed, and then their relatives perish. 3 months earlier, a comfortable bus drives along a picturesque road carrying a group of lucky individuals to a vacation at a luxurious villa by the ocean. Henry grumbles about the long trip, but Jude cuts him off.
All right, bruv. I'm winning us a holiday and you're still complaining.
You know, my mum always used to say those games will ruin your life.
Yeah? Well, we're on our way to a 5-star villa because of this game, so your mum can
Finally, the group arrives at their destination. In their room, Jude finds an invitation to the next day's meeting, assuming that's where he'll receive his prize. His girlfriend, Heather, is already planning how and where they'll spend it. Meanwhile, Andy and Kate are embroiled in yet another argument over Andy's infidelity. The next day, the couples relax by the shore.
They are all the same. Well, except for Jude.
Oh, yes. Jude is definitely one of a kind. How long have you and him been together now?
Coming up to 4 months now, I think.
The men prefer their drinks and their conversations, discussing Jude's unexpected stroke of luck. Jude boasts about his new girlfriend, whom he's head over heels for, while Andy thanks his friend for inviting his father along. It hasn't been easy for him since his mother passed. Jude grows irritated with his brother Henry, who's busy taking yet another selfie against the local scenery. But Henry is owed money.
You're not gambling again, are you?
No.
How much do you owe?
9 grand. Hey, look, do me a favor. Don't mention anything to Heather. We're not at that point where I'm quite comfortable letting her know about my finances yet.
Andy apologizes for not being able to help his friend financially, worried he might end up penniless himself after his divorce. But Jude reassures him that such a thing would never happen to him. Kate is bound to forgive him.
All right, hurry up. We've got a meeting to get to.
A meeting?
Mm-hmm. The company I won the holiday off left a note in my room to attend a secret meeting. You're coming with.
What do they want?
Give me a prize for awesomeness. Probably. That's what I reckon. Come on.
The men head to the designated meeting spot where they're invited to sit at a table. Jude jokes and celebrates his good fortune when a charming blonde, the representative of the company organizing the game Jude won, steps forward.
We'd like to offer you the opportunity to level up in an exclusive game played here in person for the pleasure of our top-tier patrons. Except this time, you'll need a partner to play with.
Well, hold on. There's a level up from winning a holiday.
You'll be in line to take home $20 million.
Jude is immediately intrigued, but Andy remains cautious. He senses there's a catch, and the host confirms it. The main condition is that they must play to the end, and for this, they'll be strapped to the table.
What does that mean, like, handcuffed?
Sort of. It's just a technicality, really. You know, our investors put a lot on the line to make all of this happen, so we can't start the game unless we're sure you're going to see it through.
Andy vehemently refuses, but Jude stops him, pointing out that the woman is offering them a chance to try a simple first round. If they decide to leave afterward, no one will stop them. Although Andy remains skeptical, Jude tempts him with the money. Kate would surely forgive him after seeing that. The next morning, they arrive at the meeting spot, where the host greets them.
Glad to see that neither of you had a change of heart during the night.
No chance.
And you?
If he's happy, I'm happy.
Spoken like a true friend. Hold on to that.
She escorts the men to the table and introduces the game, titled Them or Us. In this game, 2 participants must make a choice in their favor to achieve the best possible outcome. Each will have the chance to win a significant amount of money. However, they'll first play a trial round worth $10,000, after which they can decide whether to continue.
The rules are pretty simple. If both of you pick the red button, you get an equal share of the $10,000. If one of you picks red and one of you picks blue, then the blue player gets the full sum of money, and the red player is in debt to the company for that same amount. Now, if you both pick the blue, then you both get nothing, and you're both in debt $10,000.
The men are given time to discuss their decision. Jude finds it straightforward. It's just like a casino. Except this time, they're playing against the house. But Andy is preoccupied with another thought.
But who's it for?
For those who watch.
Andy immediately suggests the obvious move, pressing the red button. But the game could be designed to force one player to betray the other. Nevertheless, the host urges them to wait until the designated time. At this point, Andy remembers that Jude owes Henry $9 grand.
That's a pretty good reason for you to press blue, is all I was thinking.
Mate, are you serious?
Yes, I am serious. I can't afford to be in 10 grand's worth of debt over a stupid game.
Man, how long have we known each other?
Exactly. I know what you're like.
Distrust begins to creep between the friends. After all, Andy isn't new to lying. He kept his infidelity a secret for a long time. Eventually, Jude suggests sticking to their agreement and pressing the red button. After all, they've been childhood friends. The moment of truth arrives. The host initiates a countdown as the men anxiously watch the gaming table. They cheer when red lights illuminate on both sides. The host advises them to check their accounts. Both grin broadly upon seeing the credited amount. The round is over. However, if they choose to continue, their left hands will be strapped to the table and they'll remain until the end of the game.
I thought you were actually joking about that.
Yeah, that's a little bit kinky even for my taste.
It's creepy more like. Dude, we're 5,000 up. Let's just get out of here.
Jude begs Andy to reconsider. An opportunity like this might never come again. Perhaps they can convince the host to trust them on their word instead of binding them. But the host assures them that these are the rules, and she's accountable to the producers.
We both just want a chunk of money. Let's just go back, grab a beer, and celebrate.
How much is the next round for?
$100,000.
Hearing the sum involved, Jude redoubles his efforts to persuade Andy to stay. They're friends who trust each other, so they'll just repeat the same move and press the red buttons. Andy hesitates. The game will only get harder from here, and he's satisfied with the winnings. But the host intervenes.
If you don't play the game, I don't get paid, so it is definitely in my best interest to try to convince you to stay. Why don't we do this? We'll give you some space. You can go over there, you can discuss in private. But let me ask you this. How many times in life do you think you're going to get the chance to win $20 million?
The friends step aside to discuss the proposal. Jude is thrilled by the sum, but Andy reminds him how they managed to quarrel even during the harmless first round, and the idea of handcuffs does not sit well with him.
What happens if it goes wrong and you're in debt for that amount of money? That's really what they're after here. It's like the casino, remember? The house always wins.
Look, if we lose, we declare bankruptcy and we live with it. You can't take what we don't have. Mate, think about Kate and your dad.
The men return to the table. Jude anticipates an easy win, while Andy remains wary, sensing trouble. The host asks for their watches and phones to prevent distractions. Reluctantly, they hand over their belongings. This frightens Andy even more, unlike Jude, who starts joking again. The host warns them that she will announce the rules before each round. However, one rule remains constant. If they both press the red button, they will split the winnings. But
In this round, you will also lose a finger.
Sorry, what did you say?
I think she said we'll lose a finger.
Now, if one of you presses blue and the other pushes red, then the blue player will receive the full $100,000 and will keep their hand intact. The red player will be in debt for $100,000 and will also lose a finger.
Jude considers the announced rules a joke. But then the woman adds that if they both press the blue button, they will each lose $100,000 in a hand. The host starts the timer, but Andy demands to be released.
Andy, you knew the rules and you chose to participate anyway. You've agreed not to leave until this is all over. So please, play.
Mate, I think I know what's going on here. They're filming us. It's a reality TV show, right? This is like a prank show. It's good, it's funny, I get it.
Does she look like she's joking to you? We're in the middle of nowhere on an island. They can chop off whatever they want. Who's gonna stop them?
Andy insists on being let go, reminding everyone that he has rights and that it was Jude who dragged him into this adventure. The host reminds them that time is ticking and they should discuss which button to press.
What if I refuse? Huh? If I just don't press anything?
Then we'll have to terminate you immediately.
Andy becomes increasingly agitated, calling the woman crazy. Jude, however, is having fun. This simply can't be real. Frustrated, Andy reminds Jude of his debts, to which Jude retorts by bringing up Andy's affair, something Jude has never been involved in.
Whatever. Look, Jude, I don't think this is a joke.
Andy, I promise you, Kate's gonna walk out of there any minute. This whole thing's fine.
Well, if it's a joke, you'll press red.
I don't know. How do I know you're gonna press red?
Damn it!
The men press the buttons. Andy chooses red, but Jude presses blue, confident that this is all just a prank. And then, Andy's finger is severed from his hand. The woman congratulates Jude on winning $100,000, while Andy now owes the company the same amount. Burning with vengeance, Andy demands to continue the game. In the next round, $500,000 is at stake.
The rules are the same. If both of you press red, you will get an equal share of the $500,000, but you will also lose a finger. Now, if one of you presses blue and one of you presses red, then the blue player will receive all the money and keep their hand intact. The red player will be in debt for the same amount and will also lose a finger. If both players press blue, then you'll be in debt for $500,000 and you will lose your entire hand from the wrist down.
The host once again declares that the game continues for the audience watching, which sparks outrage from Jude, who has no idea whom the woman is addressing. Meanwhile, Andy expresses his frustration, blaming his childhood friend, who has always been good at shifting problems onto others.
Mate, I'm sorry, all right? But you and me need to work together if we're gonna get out of this.
Now he wants to work together.
I didn't know they were gonna do that to your finger.
This is literally what they said, word for f***ing word.
As if I would have pressed blue if I thought this was real.
For the first time, Jude feels scared. Andy no longer trusts him and might press the blue button. Jude promises to press red, but Andy argues that Jude's promises mean nothing, and now it's Jude's turn to lose a finger. In Andy's opinion, Jude has always been selfish and needs to prove otherwise.
I knew your mum was gonna die.
What is that supposed to mean? We all knew my mum was gonna die.
Yeah? But only because I made her tell you.
All right, you just mean ridiculous now.
Jude confesses that his mother didn't want to tell anyone about her illness. He convinced her to open up to the family so they could say goodbye. Jude knew about her condition 6 months before she passed. This revelation unsettles Andy, who had only 3 weeks to come to terms with his own impending loss.
She just wanted to carry on as normal, mate.
So let me get this straight. She told you, and not me.
She needed someone to drive her to the hospital for appointments. She wanted to protect you, and so she asked me. So there. Selfless.
The host announces that time is up and it's time to press the button, though she admits their confessions were captivating. Andy presses the blue button. Jude presses red. And both lose a finger.
$250,000 has just been deposited into each of your accounts. Congratulations.
How many more rounds of this are left?
Well, what would be the fun in you knowing that?
Andy grimly jokes that he's running out of fingers. Jude, on the other hand, is curious about the woman's motives. She admits that it's banal, money. For her, this is just a job, but if someone is watching, it means the game is in demand. And money rules everything, otherwise they wouldn't have returned to the table.
The next round is for $1 million. Now, obviously for that kind of money, we can't just chop off a finger or two, so it's time to raise the stakes.
Oh God, no.
What the fuck is this?
Dad?
The men are horrified to see their relatives brought to the table. Andy pleads for his father to be left alone, as he's still grieving the loss of his wife. But the host states that the game's organizers think otherwise. She begins explaining what's at stake in this round.
If both players press red, then you'll get an equal share of $1 million. But your loved ones will get their eyes burnt out, leaving them completely blind. If one of you presses blue and one of you presses red, then the blue player receives the full amount and their loved one walks away unharmed. The red player will then be in debt for the same amount of money and their loved one will be terminated immediately.
Now, if both players press blue, then you'll both be in debt for $1 million and your loved ones will be terminated immediately.
Andy offers his hand to be cut off in exchange for his father's freedom, but the woman encourages them to negotiate and make a decision. For the first time since the game began, Jude is at a loss and begs for mercy for his brother. However, the host is relentless, reminding them that she's just the intermediary.
You play this game all the time. You know nothing about the company.
Mate, it's an app I downloaded on my phone. I don't know what the fuck this is.
You must know something.
Don't you think I would have said something by now if I knew anything that could help us?
Gotta do something, Jude.
Jude proposes pressing the red button. His father and Henry would lose an eye, but remain alive. The host suggests consulting the parties involved. Andy's father demands an end to this madness, while Henry begs for a chance to live and marry. Andy implores Jude to do the right thing.
I gotta be able to trust you, man. This is my dad's life. If you press blue...
Hey, I don't know that you won't press blue, okay? I mean, come on, you don't even like Henry.
Old grievances surface. Andy's father has always disliked Jude, and Henry has always been considered a fool, but these are not reasons to kill each other's loved ones. The discussion time ends, and the host utters the code phrase. 2 blue lights illuminate the table. 2 people die before their loved one's eyes.
You killed him? You lied. You f***ing killed him.
Okay, that's enough dwelling on that. There is money to be made. Let's move on to the next round, shall we?
Andy realizes the implications and reminds Jude that 6 people came to the island. The host orders the women to be brought in. Amidst cries of despair, Kate and Heather are led onto the clearing. The men try to comfort them, but the women are terrified. The host reiterates the rules.
Now, if both of you press red, you'll get an equal share of the $5 million, but your loved ones' tongues will get cut out. Now, if one of you presses blue and the other presses red, then the blue player receives all the money and your loved one walks away untouched. The red player...
We know the rules. You no need to repeat them, please.
Then feel free to discuss amongst yourselves. For those who watch.
Jude begs Heather for forgiveness, claiming he didn't know where his gambling would lead, but Andy denies his words. Jude knew exactly what he was doing and always made others' lives worse. Andy pleads with Kate to forgive him for everything he's done, promising that everything will change once they return home. Kate's last words were a confession of love for her husband. Heather, unexpectedly, announces that she's pregnant.
Andy, please tell me you're listening to this.
I heard it.
Let her go. Let her go right now. I swear to God, I'll f***ing kill you myself.
Jude, that kind of behavior isn't going to get you anywhere. I'm only doing it for the people.
The host grants additional time for the situation to be discussed. Andy pleads with Jude to work together so that nothing like this happens again. Time runs out and the decision must be made. Andy presses the red button while Jude presses blue. He sobs, begging for forgiveness, claiming he simply couldn't bring himself to kill a pregnant woman. $5 million are now added to Jude's account. Kate collapses after a gunshot to the head. Andy is inconsolable.
Why?
Heather's pregnant, man.
But you'd only just met her.
You guys were basically over.
Andy lashes out at Jude, who can only cry as Kate is carried away and Heather is led off the field. The host concludes that, unfortunately, the guests have run out, but Andy reminds her that they've already taken everyone he cared about. Well, almost everyone. There's still his best friend, Jude. Hearing Jude's name, Andy spits, expressing his contempt. Yet the game goes on.
The next round is for $10 million. If both of you press red, you get an equal share of the money, but you both get one eye burnt out. Now, if one of you presses blue and the other presses red, the blue player receives the full $10 million. The red player is in debt for the same amount and gets both eyes burnt out. If both of you press blue, then you'll be terminated immediately.
Andy immediately announces that he will press the blue button. Jude desperately tries to convince him to reconsider. After all, they've already lost everything. At least they can leave with one eye intact, and the money.
There is no version of this where we walk away anyway. You're not stupid enough to not realize that.
2 red lights illuminate the table. The host congratulates the men on their winnings, and in the next moment, both have an eye burned out. As they begin to regain their composure, the host reminds them of the original promise of $20 million. However, now even Jude doesn't want to hear anything about the money. What more could possibly scare them?
Well, these things would be nothing without a little last-minute twist. You remember Heather?
That's not fair. She was done. She was out of this. You can't bring her back in. You can't do that to her. Don't point that thing at her.
The host assures them that everything now depends on Heather. Jude tries to encourage her, promising that everything will end well, words that make Andy laugh as he's heard them from Jude all day.
This round, you'll be playing together as a team. Andy, you'll make the choice on behalf of your team, and Heather, you will hold up the card of your choice when asked. Now, if both teams choose red, then you'll all get an equal share of $20 million, but you'll also get one eye burnt out. If one team chooses blue and the other chooses red, then the blue team walks away with $20 million and the red team gets terminated immediately. If both teams choose blue, then you all get terminated.
Heather begs the host to release the men, refusing any money. Andy mocks her tears, accusing Heather of being a fraud. She, in turn, pleads with Jude to press red, saying she can't live without him. Andy relents, agreeing to press the red button.
Okay. Make your decisions. Blue or red? Us or them? Reveal your choices in 3, 2, 1.
2 red lights illuminate the table as Heather reveals a blue card, drawing applause from the host and laughter from Andy. Heather is congratulated on winning $20 million.
Sorry. We've only been together 4 months. I don't think I should have to. You got yourself into this, and I have my whole life.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Time for you to leave.
Are you even pregnant?
Heather is led away, and 2 gunshots echo at the table. 3 months later, a disfigured man struggles to understand why all of this happened to him. The host, Heather, reminds him that there's no way out of this game. A mid-tier thriller with a suspenseful atmosphere and intriguing twists, but lacking in dynamism. While it doesn't bring anything new to the genre, fans of deadly games might enjoy it.